The first Umi water control deck that I have seen top a regional is here, and it is the most beautiful thing that I have seen in forever. Don't beg the 34% of you that have not smashed the level and crap out of the subscribe button. Please smash it for me, little diamond heart. Your Argentina regional breakdown is here, and you know what? 4-tier elements. Yay. Wait. For those of you in the back that can't hear it. Yay! When we look through deck list here, you'll understand why tier is such a good deck if you've watched every other one of these breakdowns before. I keep descending into madness every time I have to talk about tier. Please, top of more rogue. Papa Robbie wants to talk about other things out here. Please, I'm being forced against the Yu-Gi-Oh gods to talk about tier. It's like a punishment every single day of my life. We also had one Sprite deck. Ooh, it's still meta. If you notice, Sprite has been like fighting for its life in some of these regionals. There's been very few cases where Sprite has had a offbeat chance of actually succeeding out here, and it actually shows through. The deck does get the chance to do relatively well. Now, into the strange things here. We also had a Shadal Albaz deck, Albaz Dolls, as we're going to call for this, and I'm not surprised to see that, Dogmatica good stuff shows up, but seeing Winda getting the chance to step back into the light here is very, very good. I'll take that. We also have a Crystal Beast deck. Now, I've been waiting to see a Modern Era Conclave deck actually show up on the regional level, because it's not totally impossible. The only downside to things is, well, unfortunately, what's that? Misting Mind's Band, they could search that? Oh, you kind of have to rely on some other cards now to kind of put you into the proper game plan for you to play. And then we had Water Control. Now, this is Kyroshin Floodgate deck, where you rely on the power of Kyra. I mean, if there's not negates in the format, what are you really worried about here? It means you can floodgate your opponent on out, and you have a fair chance to play the game? Yes, that does. Let's pass on over to take a look at some of these deck lists. First place winning the regional, to no surprise, is Tier Elements. Now, poor Agito is just a one-of. Poor guys, just nobody wants to play with poor Agito out here. We are playing 5 Bysteals in the main, and we are sighting 2 Saranir with the 1 Druis Worm, which means that if you need to have access to it for the later games, Snap, Crackle, and Pop, have access to it, alright? That's really what you care about at the end of the day with this. I see that we are main decking 2 Solic, citing the 1 Crime down here. That's been pretty big norm here. And the super spicy thing for this list is we're actually packing in some Gammas and a Driver. Now, I know that a few people have talked about trying to play Gamma and Driver before, but it doesn't show up quite as much. I love the idea behind it for sure. It never sticks around for too long. So it is what it is. Outside of that, for your top cut, 1 Scream, 1 Heartbeat in the main deck, which is fine. Not much else to really talk about here. Second place here. Oh, come on, more. This looks pretty much the same as the other list. You see what I did there? All tier lists look the same. We're playing 8 Bysteals in the main deck. Triple Reno Heart. Agito doesn't get to see any play this time around. 1 Heartbeat, 1 Screech. And then we're citing the Gammas and the Driver. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe Gamma and Driver have just moved on in to be the greatest thing since sliced bread for this deck. Alright, to be honest with you, outside of the rest of this deck, I mean, 3 Reno Heart, like I said, is become pretty... That, or you make the argument for 2. And then, of course, remain decking, double Solic with the 1 Crime. 95% of your ratios for this never really change all that much. So, do with that info what you will. Hopefully, we'll see some other tier decks out here get the chance to shine up. Gotta love Cookie Cutter. Next up here is Albaz Good Stuff. Okay, so what's so spicy about this? This build is actually playing we're actually playing Shadal Fusion. Holy crap. Okay. So, we're also playing the Despia Theater. So our Shadal monsters are what? 1 Beast, 1 Dragon, 2 Squamata, double Hedgehog. We're actually playing the Nest Shadal and 2 Windy. So what is our game plan with this? We play double Wind. So you can make double Winda. I guess this is just more of an actual playing Shadal's deck, where you're going to use the doll package to kind of detour really what your opponent tries to do. I'll see that we are playing the Necro Banshee down in the side deck. you wouldn't catch me dead not playing that engine right now. Flunder is such an annoyance. It's definitely something that you have to be prepared for at all stages. But honestly, outside of that, the rest of this deck looks good. I don't have any complaints, as nor should you. All right, next up here, it's our Crystal Beast deck. And we are playing the Zodiac package. Oh, man. All right, so this is Conclave Control, baby. Now, the first thing you're going to notice here is we are playing Seeker Village with the win. That way you can basically lock your opponent out of being able to activate spells. Is it good? It gets the job done, partially. I see that we are playing 2 of the Foolish Burial Goods in the main deck, and then we are siding the 3rd. I guess that's in case we need it. We're citing the 1 up pointer, that's fine. So triple Conclave, 2 of the Miracle, and then 2 TC Boo, and we are citing the 3rd TC Boo. You can definitely tell that this deck is built a lot better off than formerly some of the other builds out there. Also, we are focusing on Dimension Shifter. Let's call it what it is. Dimension Shifter is going to be one of the best cards you can have access to in a deck like this. Taking away your opponent's graveyard resource for you to be able to play the game, it's unfortunately something that you kind of have to rely on with this deck. But like I said, I love how this is built. All of the ratios look absolutely amazing. And you can definitely tell, just like the 1 Pot of Prosperity is fine. I feel like this duelist doesn't want to run into a situation where they're going to dead draw it. And I think that that's perfectly fine at the end of the day. Next up here is our Sprite list. Oh boy. So in terms of how normal Sprite lists look here, we are packing in 9 Bysteals. Holy crap. All right, so this duelist just did not want to deal with the crap of the format. Okay, perfectly understandable. Nimble Package is fine. We're playing the 1 Smashers. We are main decking Talents. You kind of notice that Talents just kind of had a resurgence back to being a huge 3 of. I know we saw Talents pecking around as like a 2 of, but like it definitely has gotten the chance to come back now. We're also playing the 2 Swap Frog. We're not seeing the tech Dupe Frog that we've seen kind of show up out of some other events. I do like the idea of seeing it. It's definitely cute, but it has not stuck around too long. I also see that we are citing Dimension Shifter. Unfortunately, in this format, you kind of have to rely on Dimension Shifter to close the game. And, well, you gotta draw it, right? That's how it works. And we're not playing Gamma Burst. All right, that's interesting to know. Next up, Water Control. Yes! So, I see that we are playing the old monster that converts the field to Umi. That is the first particular thing that catches my eye here. Now, the other things that I care about here are we are playing the Dimensional Fissure as a 2 of in this deck, which means that, you don't really care. It's going to stick around on the field. Unless you run into Goaty somewhere out there, then, it's just bad luck on your behalf. Like, there's not really much that you can do about that. The standard 1 Giga is fine. We're playing 1 of the Octopus, which is fine. 3 of the Physalis for the negate, 3 of the Kyrishin, 1 Turtle, and then we have the 1 big Mega Chad ship, which I've bitten so many of those. Dark Ruler no more to make sure that you can play the game is fine. Do keep in mind that you do play the Foolish Burial Goods down there for the trap card, because you get a really nice interaction to get that recurred back to your hand. Extra deck looks pretty fine. I like the double Abyss Keeper. And then I see that we are citing the 1 Tetsu Erat Newman down there as well. But this deck, beautifully designed. Everything honestly looks really good. I also love the 1 Shizuku that they have in the extra deck slot, just because they can. And the last as we have here is more tier. This one, main decking 4 copies of the Bysteals, citing 3 more, so we have 7 in total. We have access to, there can only be 1 on the side, that's kind of cute actually. And then we're citing the Twin Twisters, Lightning Storms, and the Harpies, Feather Dusters, all the good rest of everything else. So I don't really have much else to say about this regional breakdown, but like, tier is still tier. The rogue decks were absolutely exciting to see. I am a huge fan when we can get the chance to see rogue do well out here, especially on a regional level like this. And once again, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, once January, February starts to roll out here, we'll see some possible changes, hopefully, in the metagame. If not, it's going to be a very sluggish 2023 to start. But I'm staying optimistic. So you guys have a good rest of your day, all right? Peace out. Patrons! Thank you!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.